Hi, my name's Myung. I play bass for a band called Dream Theater. And welcome to my first instructional video. I'd like to grow the tuning of the 6-string bass, which is very simple. The middle 4 strings are exactly identical to a 4-string bass, tuned from E to G in fourths, E, A, D, G. And the 6-string bass is just merely an extension of the 4-string bass by adding a string, a fourth above the G string, which will give you C, and a fourth below the E string, which will give you a low B. And for those of you that want to play along with me, I'll just go over the open string tunings real quick. First, I'll do B. Second will be E. Third is A. Then D. Then G. And finally, C. A big part of my playing is definitely working with chords. A way that I practice working with chords is by creating patterns from the arpeggios of different chords and applying each pattern to a cycle of fifths progression. I have 14 different patterns which will be applied to 4 basic chord types, which are major 7, minor 7, dominant 7, and diminished 7th. Each pattern will start in the key of C. Pattern 1, going root to root. Pattern 2, root to third. Pattern 3, root to fifth. Pattern 4, root to major 7th. Pattern 5, root to root, descending. Pattern 6, root to third, descending. Pattern 7th, root to 5th, descending. Pattern 8, root to 7th, descending. Pattern 9, third to third, ascending. Pattern 10, fifth to fifth, ascending. Pattern 11, seventh to seventh, ascending. Pattern 12, third to third, descending. Pattern 13, fifth to fifth, descending. 14th pattern, 7th to 7th, descending. The next chord is the minor 7th chord type, starting in the key of C, pattern 1. Pattern 2. Pattern 3. Pattern 4. Pattern 5. Pattern 9. Pattern 10. Pattern 11. Pattern 12. Pattern 13. And finally, pattern 14. For the next two chords, I'll only be playing the first 4 patterns of each chord that are in your booklet, and you can work the others out on your own. I know this stuff is very boring. It could definitely be time-consuming and not a very fun thing to do, but it will make a difference when it comes to playing over chord changes. Then you'll be glad you did it. So here we go. Dominant 7th chord, pattern 1. Pattern 2. Pattern 3. And finally, pattern 4. Diminished 7th chord, pattern 1. Pattern 2. Pattern 3. Pattern 4. What I'd like to do now is just apply the patterns that I've shown you to a blues progression in the key of C for 4 courses. Now what I'd like to do is apply chords as chords rather than as arpeggios. I'm using the chords that are listed in the video booklet, and I have the list of changes that I use for this particular song that I've named Solar Groove. It's in a 4/4 time feel, and in the middle of the song I'm using the concept of playing odd meters within a 4/4 time signature by taking 4 measures, actually 3 measures of 4 time, which is 12 beats, and breaking that into 4 measures of 3/4. Also at the end of the piece I'm using bass harmonics to form chords at the end. So here we go. I'd like to talk a little bit about scales now. Scales are a great way to develop dexterity and strength in your hands through just playing any type of scale in all 12 keys. I'd like to show you my approach to scales. My approach to scales has been to connect 2, 3, or 4 octave scales by thinking them as a bunch of modes connected to each other to form these scales. It's a little hard to explain, so let me show you what I mean. If I were to play a 4 octave C major scale, I would do that by combining the first 6 notes of Ionian. Then, rather than going to Dorian, I go backwards to Locrian, play the first 6 notes of Locrian, then play the first 6 notes of Aeolian, and then play the first 6 notes of Mixolydian. So I'm thinking of the diatonic modes, but I'm going in a descending order when I'm thinking about ascending in a 4 octave major scale. Okay, so let me show you exactly what I mean when I play a 4 octave C major scale. I start with the low C, and I think of the first 6 notes of the Ionian mode. Then I think of the first 6 notes of Locrian. Then the first 6 notes of Aeolian. Then the first 6 notes of Mixolydian. And extend to give me the 4th octave of C. And think the same way going back down. Mixolydian to Aeolian to Locrian, back down to Ionian. Now, moving to the 2nd degree, the C major scale, I'll play a 3 octave scale, starting with the Dorian mode. And this is the way I would think it out. I would start with the first 6 notes of Dorian, then the first 6 notes of Ionian, then the first 6 notes of Locrian, and extend to get the octave, and then think the same way back down. Now moving to the natural 3rd of the scale, I would start with the Phrygian mode and play a 3 octave scale, starting with the first 6 notes of Phrygian, then the first 6 notes of Dorian, then the first 6 notes of Ionian, and extend, I believe it's an extra 4 notes on top of the 6 to get the octave that you started on. And then think the same way back down. And now starting on the 4th degree, which will give me the Lydian mode, the first 6 notes of Lydian, to the first 6 notes of Phrygian, to the first 6 notes of Dorian, and extend it. With Mixolydian, to Lydian, to Phrygian. Now moving to Aeolian, Mixolydian, Lydian, almost. And now doing a 4 octave B Locrian scale, I would think the same way. But this time, the B is within the Ionian mode position. So I would think Ionian and just approach it with a low B. And then I would go from the first 6 notes of this mode right here, which is basically an Ionian pattern with starting with a low B, and then go up to the Locrian. And then finally back to C. I rely on this method of playing scales, this sort of backwards modal approach to playing scales, because it provides a consistent way for me to look at scales and to stay in key regardless of where I am on the bass neck. I'd like to talk about bass harmonics for a little bit. They've been a very valuable tool for me. I look at them almost as another instrument within a bass guitar. The harmonics that I mainly work with are the first 8 natural harmonics. I'll show you the first 8 positions for the C string, and then you can later apply them to the rest of the strings since the positions are relative. The first harmonic on the C string would be at the 12th fret, which gives the root harmonic of the string C an octave higher. The second harmonic would be at the 9th fret, which will give you the natural third of the string, which in this case would be E. The third harmonic will give you the natural 5th of the string, which in this case would be G at the 7th fret. The fourth harmonic will be the root harmonic C again, this time 2 octaves higher on the 5th fret. Then, right below the 4th fret, you'll get the natural third of the string, which would be E, 2 octaves higher. Then right above the 3rd fret, you get the natural 5th of the string again, which would be G, 2 octaves higher. Then right below the 3rd fret, you'll get the flat 7 of the string, which would be B flat. Then right above the 2nd fret, you get the root harmonic again, C, 3 octaves higher. So you have all these harmonics here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to choose from. And the positions are relative to the other strings, so I can, in one position, just rake out a whole bunch of notes. All those to choose from. And it definitely helps to know where they sit on the bass knife, because for instance, just through experience, I know that if I play A here, and the 2 harmonic notes above that give me a minor 7 chord sound. So all along here I have a stack of minor 7 chord sounds. And down here in second position, I know that I have the same type of chord sound and type, just with higher harmonics, with the addition of B flat, actually D flat minor 7. I'd like to play an example of using these harmonics and incorporating them into a bass groove. The second example, I'll use a Dream Theater song called Lifting Shadows Off a Dream, where the song starts off with bass harmonics forming the chords B at 11 to G major 7 flat 5. And it goes like this. I'd like to talk a little bit about left-hand technique. There's a run in a Dream Theater song called The Change of Seasons that's actually a pretty good left-hand workout. It goes like this. It's a 16th note pattern that starts with the ring finger and uses the pinky and the index, and then the pattern alternates and the ring finger goes out and the middle finger comes in. So it goes like this. And just doing that at various tempos after a while, your hand starts to hurt, and that's what I do every now and then to build up my left hand strength. Another left hand exercise that you could do to strengthen your hand is actually working on trills. This is actually something that John Petrucci showed me a long time ago. It's just 8 different combinations. The first combination is the index in the middle. You do that for about a minute. Then you move on to the next combination, which is index and ring. And you do that for about a minute, and then index and pinky. Then the next combination is middle and ring. Then the next combination is middle and pinky. And then the next combination is, which would be, I believe, the 6th combination, would be the ring and the pinky. Then the 7th would be index, middle, and pinky finger. Then the 8th finally would be index, ring, and pinky. Another exercise that builds left-hand technique would be doing something as simple as a diminished 7th pattern across the strings and moving up the neck chromatically and down. I'd like to talk a little bit about right hand technique. The right hand technique fingerings that I use are 3 different fingerings. One would be my index and middle, the second would be my index and my ring, and then my third would be using all 3. A way that I build them up would be to apply them to a pentatonic scale and keep each combination in for 2 different positions of that scale and then switch. So I'll show exactly what I mean. I'll start with C pentatonic using the index and middle. Now I'll switch to index and ring. Then I'll switch to all 3. When it comes to tapping, I don't really do a whole lot, but when I do it, I usually think of chords when I apply my tapping. There's a bass solo in a song called Metropolis where I do a bass solo, and it's just consisting of a series of add 11 chords going up a G major scale starting on the major 7, which would be F sharp. So it's just a 16th note pattern with 32nd note, with 2 32nd notes, and it sounds like this. Now to break that down, all it is just 4 different octaves, four different roots with the 4th in it, or 11. So real slow, it's another type of tapping that I like to do is tapping out chords in the context of a groove. There's a song called Scarred where the bass intro is just tapping out a series of B chords. B minor 7 to B minor 6th to B root 5th to B add 11, and then repeating itself. So this is what it sounds like. We're now approaching the end of the video. I hope this video had something to offer you. It was a great learning experience for me to do, having never done this sort of thing before. I'd like to end with a jam in 5/8 with Mike and Derek accompanying me in this jam. And I'm going to be combining some of the ideas that we had talked about, like applying chord tones and modes and things like that. Take care, and God bless.